chase is on, man. We have gone through months and months and months of the regular season, and the Stanley Cup is only a couple months away now.
Yeah.
Are you looking to light the lamp? Because I know I am.
I think you'd be silly not to try and light
Nothing.
the lamp.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? And
Exactly.
nothing beats the action better than our buddies at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL and the Stanley Cup playoffs. From the start of playoff beards all the way to hoisting the cup, DraftKings has you covered with same game parlays and live betting and odds bonuses and special bets all throughout these playoffs. So much going on. Usually we talk about money lines
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to these, but
Yeah.
let's take a look at some of these offers, huh?
Yeah. That sounds good to me.
Let's see here. Some fun ones for the first round. We got Carolina coasting.
Yeah. I
Carolina Carolina won game 1 last year, 2-1 behind an opening Aho goal from Natchez. So the legs on this, um Carolina to score first, Sebastian Aho to score a goal, Martin Natchez 1+ points, and it's a whole 5-legger for a plus 675. We've got the scrolling through this. Ooh, some rematch ones. This one's called You Again. Uh, with a 3-leg parlay with the Oilers to win the series against the Kings, the Canes to win the series against the Islanders, and the Golden Knights to win the series against the Stars.
Mm.
That's a plus 334. This one's a fun special because it requires a lot. It doesn't require a lot from us, it requires a lot from one man.
And who is that man?
The the bet's called McJesus.
Oh, that's a lot to expect. Wait, Travis Dermott's not in the playoffs.
Bet on McDavid to lead the Oilers Stanley Cup run and win the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Yeah, that's a lot of expectations to put on one man. But luckily, he's not an ordinary man.
No, he is not. There's a lot of fun specials. I like this one for the Hurricanes to win round 1 in 6.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And I like this one, Happy Handshake, which is, we'll get to this later,
Is
but
that something Wilson?
that is Leafs versus Bruins, Leafs winning.
I'll hold my laughter.
Just to get one more in here for y'all. Um, on the flip side of that, we've got the same game parlay called Leaf Blowers.
Damn. Damn.
Bruins to score first, Pasternak 1+ assists, Leafs under 2.5 goals, and Bruins to win.
Yeah, that sounds like a good parlay.
That is
I
a
might
plus
definitely.
395. And you can get in on all of that and more with our buddies at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. New customers bet $5 and get 200 bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or visit Hope NY. Text Hope NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. In Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/eligibility. or slash ice for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. I'm very tired. Thank you guys for listening.
You're listening to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your hosts, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Did you start the thing back up?
I did start the thing back up with the timer
Then no, I'm gonna say it publicly to be mean.
going. Well, it's funny because the intro music's playing, so they couldn't hear you say that. Oh my god, we're here! Dude, it's the best time of the year. I know I let it off with that last year, but I mean, it kind of is, isn't it?
I mean, it is. I mean, you think about everything that's going on right now. You got the NBA playoffs. You got, obviously, the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Masters just ended. Baseball's back. We just had March Madness for, men's and women's were both phenomenal this year. Surely I'm missing something. Oh, Premier League. A lot of like that are ending. Champions League, Europa League. Like, let me tell you, this time of year is the best time of year for sports. But obviously, we're here to talk about what we believe is the cream of the crop, if you will.
Oh, it absolutely is the cream of the crop. I did say, because we're gonna try to drop this before the first game of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So I want to try and breeze through these, so we're not keeping this too long, so we can get this out as soon as possible.
Hopefully, our boys in Union Blue before too long can be a part of this once again. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I hope, but we may be waiting a bit,
Give it a couple more years,
perhaps.
perhaps.
All right. Shall we start out west?
I think we should start out east because that's our conference.
Don't we want to save the best for last?
You know what? You got a point. You make a good point. Let's
I like to
start.
think I do from time to time.
Let's start as far west as we can go then. So we have the Vancouver Canucks and wild card 1, Nashville.
How you feeling about it?
This is an interesting series because, like, thinking back to how the regular season was, the Canucks were night and day from last year. Rick Tocchet firing on all cylinders. Quinn Hughes, a Norris caliber defenseman. Brock Besser being probably the most underrated out of a powerhouse of forwards.
Yeah.
JT Miller actually played some back checking this year.
Yeah,
which is the most surprising thing out of everything.
It was very impressive. Yes, absolutely.
And Thatcher Demko turning into a god among men.
Do you know who led the Canucks in points this year?
Wasn't it JT?
It was.
Yeah,
It took a year for our JT Miller take to set in as a good take, but we're here.
Isn't this the first year of his big contract too?
Yes. Last year he signed that extension, but had a rough season. So people were like, "Oh God, that extension
is he going to be worth it?"
Extension. Silence the concerns.
You've got Philip Hronik on there with the pair with Hughes. You have Tyler Myers being a wrecking ball.
Yeah, this is the time of year when he actually makes a little bit more of an impact. Those bigger, heavier defensemen who can just make life a little bit more difficult for your opponent.
You've got guys blossoming in the bottom six, even with Pius Suter and Niels Höglander. Dakota Joshua, oh my God.
They just gave Pat Colson an extension.
That's right.
Yeah, he obviously hasn't lived up to his draft billing, but I think he's been pretty solid in the bottom six.
It's very strange after they, traded a guy like Kuzmenko away. But it's worked out for him.
It's worked out, yeah, definitely.
And on the Nashville side, you have, Philip Forsberg leading the charge.
is very good
Um,
this year. Ryan
uses
O'Reilly
Ryan
had
O'Reilly and Gus Nyquist. Oh my God, I miss him.
yeah, Ryan O'Reilly and Gus Nyquist both had a bit of a comeback this season. They
Mhm.
showed up like previous form, which was obviously what Nashville was hoping for.
You say
Obviously
Soros,
Andrew
solid
Brunette in
as
his
always,
first year is a phenomenal coach.
and Barry Trotz showing what Nashville was missing
Yeah,
because
yeah, no,
Barry's
a good job.
starting there as coach for 20 years and coming back now as general manager. I'd say he's done a good job.
I know this is a bad nickname, so we'd have to come up with something else. But like when you think of the Predators organization, the first name I think of is Barry Trotz. I was gonna say he's kind of like Mr. Predator, but I was like,
Mm,
maybe a different nickname.
yeah, no, I don't want to go there. But they, obviously, yes, they've made really solid additions to start the year with those two forwards and Luke Shen. Um, especially after uh buying out both Duchesne and Ryan Johansson.
But they didn't buy out Johansson.
Or yeah, that was just a trade.
But yeah, buying out Duchesne, which was a questionable move at the time, questioned by me. I wondered what the upgrade with Ryan O'Reilly over Duchesne would be, especially considering the money that you'd be investing in a buyout. But no, it's worked out.
And the
And
young guys too, Luke Evangelista and Alex Carrier,
yeah,
they're all coming into their own at this point.
they are. So my question to you, Jake, who you got?
Who I got for this one? Well, if I take a look at my THPN bracket here, I have the Canucks moving on.
How many games?
I believe it said 6. I don't have that in front of me
Mm-hmm.
because when you download the image, it doesn't
Yeah,
tell you the
I
games.
have that app open right now. So, um, I had the Predators in 7.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Let me actually do this very quickly as I can. Bracket challenge.
I have Nashville in 7 because just about every single year we see at least one uh,
Right.
dog fall. And as much as I love the Canucks and what they've done this season, I think Thatcher Demko is an excellent goaltender.
Mhm.
You think Saros actually has been this is the worst season he's had in the National Hockey League. I still think he's like a 907 this year, which is like
That's
that's
amazing.
that's his worst season. Is an above average save percentage in the NHL. Like but he's actually been coming on a little bit more as of late. And it gives me like
Mhm.
sometimes when a great goalie has a bit of a down season but the
Mhm.
team makes the playoffs, they actually get into their best form in the playoffs. And he seems like a candidate for that. And I think that, I don't know. I just love the vibes of Nashville right now. So I'm going off that.
I just feel like with the way Tockett's coached this year,
He's
es-
coached so well.
especially
Oh, wow.
with the way the bottom 6 has been playing,
Yep. Yeah.
you have Sam Lafferty and Dakota Joshua leading that charge.
Dakota Joshua's been phenomenal in the bottom 6.
So yeah, I have Canucks in 6.
All righty.
Uh, the other Pacific matchup, we've got ourselves a little Gretzky Bowl rematch.
For a third year in a row. Let's run it back for a third year in a row.
Oilers Kings.
The new Leafs Bruins?
It's the Leafs Bruins of the West. We know that much.
Very much so.
We know the story of this already. I know it's a little bit different on the Kings side.
What's up? Sorry.
I know the story is a little bit different on the Kings side this year.
Yeah.
But then you also have the oil. Like, let's start with Edmonton, right? They start off dog water,
Yes.
losing what their first 12.
Well,
Or like
they didn't lose their first 12, but
or like 9 of their first 12 or something
they
like
got
that.
off to a rough start. Yeah. I want to say they were like 3-8-1 or something like that.
Ugh, ew.
Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea.
And obviously they kept Ekholm around.
Hmm.
You bring up Holloway for a bigger role this year. And Jack Campbell wasn't helping any of that
God, they were not
in
getting
net.
any support in goal for quite some time.
They got no saves from either Campbell or Skinner.
None.
Connor obviously wasn't up to snuff. Leon wasn't playing really like Leon.
They lost 10 of their first 13.
Ugh.
Yeah. But they
So
bring
then,
it's Chris Knobloch.
which was Connor's coach in Erie.
Hmm.
It's funny how over the last few seasons, Connor's brought in basically one piece each from his Otters days.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I didn't realize this. Paul Coffey's an assistant.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
pretty neat, right?
Yeah.
Because they brought in Connor Brown this past off season, and he didn't
Yeah.
do as he wasn't as advertised. That was more of Zach
Oh,
Hyman this year.
no.
Oh my God, Zach Hyman this year.
Yeah, Zach Hyman was unbelievable.
Unbelievable
Yeah,
50 goal scorer.
they were hoping that they would get a good chunk in the middle six out of Connor Brown, but it didn't work. But we say it didn't work. It didn't work for the longest time, but then he started to kind of heat up a little bit, and I don't want to say it's really a dud anymore because look what happens. Sometimes you have such a long thing going, you finally score a goal, and then the floodgates open a little bit.
Right. As soon as you get the monkey off your back, sometimes that really helps more than anything.
And you could tell it was like obviously such a it's something that galvanized the team a bit. Like some of these guys, like obviously they're aware
Mm-hmm.
when it happened, like the reaction, all the guys like freaking out and being thrilled for him. It seemed like a nice shift of the season a little bit, even though things were starting to go their way. I feel like Edmonton's kind of on a roll right now.
There's a lot of good stories that came out of when they like rose from the dead.
Hmm.
Because Connor McDavid reaching 100 assists in a year,
Hmm.
unbelievable for a down year by his standards.
Yes.
Um, especially goal scoring wise, he still reached 32 goals this year.
Yeah.
And Calvin Pickard, that's a hell of a story.
That came out of nowhere, didn't it?
That was amazing what he was able to accomplish throughout
You never want to say it about
the
like
regular season.
Draisaitl had a down year. He only had 106 points.
And then on the Kings side of things, you take out Iafallo and Velarde and you bring in PLD, hoping that this guy is gonna solve your 2C issue. And he turned into your 4C. And I mean, we've known this from just previous PLD drama.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
Todd McClellan gets fired.
Yeah.
Who did they bring in? They brought up one of their associates as an interim option, right?
I think of his name.
But
Jim
that's
Hiller. Jim Hiller.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Jonas Hiller.
Right. Flames legend.
True. Always had the sickest pads. Always had the sickest.
Oh, he had the best pads.
Yeah.
Really, like, obviously, Grace is gonna roll me over the coals for this one. But like, I just felt like the majority of the year was the Kempe and Kopi show, and that was pretty much it.
That's kind of how I felt too. Not to say that other guys weren't contributing. Like obviously we saw a more good things this year from Quentin Byfield. That's
Oh my gosh, how did I
something to
forget
be
about Quentin Byfield?
something to be really excited about. Alex Turcotte came up late, so they're still hoping that there's something there with him.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. I just
Akil Thomas was a great story this year.
there's such a strange vibe about the Kings that I just can't get behind.
Well, the problem, I think, you know, obviously they have guys on the back end contributing with Doughty and Vladdy.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that we know can do that.
Bucky Anderson.
Mikey,
Yeah.
Wah,
Yeah.
or Matt Roy. I
Jordan
get
Spence
confused with
played a decent. I
Nicola
think Jordan
Wah.
Spence played a decent, but he played 71 games this year.
Wow. And Trevor Moore. Oh my God, what a breakout season for Trevor Moore.
Now Trevor Moore's been breaking out a bit here. Like
He's
obviously he
been,
had 31 goals this year, so this is
this
his
is the
season.
breakout. Right.
But even 2 years ago, he had 48 points.
Right.
Like we've been able to see a little bit here. Because he grew up around that area, so obviously
Yes.
playing in LA is a really cool experience for him.
They didn't get much
There's
from,
pieces here. There's pieces here.
yeah.
Kevin Fiala had 73 points this year. He was good too. But I don't know. There's something about this team, and I don't necessarily know if I could put my finger on it.
The goalies are really sour for me.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Talbot, I think, played well this year. He had a 913. Dave Riddick had a 921 in limited appearances. He played in 22 total games. So the numbers aren't bad, but I guess it's like, how long do you really think you can ride the questionable tandem?
The
Can
elder
you do
statesman
well?
in Cam Talbot
Yeah.
and David Riddick, who has been a journeyman for the last like 3 years.
Yeah, ever since he got traded by Calgary, he's kind of been all over the place. And I guess for me, like, their numbers were obviously good this year, but you're facing McDavid and
Yeah.
Draisaitl and Hyman and Nugent Hopkins and all these guys. Like, you better bring your A game. And I mean, can they bring it for 7 games?
I don't know, bro.
I think I went. Yeah, I went. Oh, I went Oilers in 5.
So did I.
Okay. Okay.
So let's go a little more towards the central.
Mhm.
With the Jets and the Avs.
I love what the Jets have done this year. I think Rick Bowness has done a pretty good job as head coach of the Jets, and obviously we mentioned the PLD trade. One side how it didn't work out for the Kings. Well, their losses were for the Jets game.
Gabe Velarde this year, bro.
Gabe
Holy
Velarde
crap.
was fantastic. We saw Mark Scheifele continue to do.
Obviously, Mark Scheifele things, Kyle Connor things happened. You got steady defense from guys like Dylan DeMello. Nick
Oh,
Ehlers
dude, Josh
continues to,
Morrissey. Oh my God, he just gets better every year.
and so does Nikolai Ehlers.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
But the big thing with Winnipeg is they will go as far as Connor Hellebuck will take them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
That man, Vezina, Hart, he already won the Jennings for lowest goals against this year.
921 save percentage in 60 games, 37 wins, 5 shutouts, 239 goals against average. But like looking at their back end, I mean, Josh Morrissey, Dylan DeMello, as you mentioned, Brendan Dillon, Colin Miller, Nate Schmidt, Dylan Sandberg. It's a pretty solid defense.
And they added 2 more forward pieces before the end of the year.
Tyler Toffoli was a big ad.
Oh my God, Toffoli too. That's right. I forgot all about him. I was thinking of the kids. Kabrinkov or something like that. I probably really butchered that name, but like the other one being Brad Lambert.
Yeah, yeah.
Coming in right at the end of the year. I'm interested to see what they do against, an Avs team where you have not only do you have a Hart candidate leading the way in Nathan McKinnon,
Mm-hmm.
you have Mikko Rantanen, always underrated.
Yep. Kale
There's
McCarr is solid.
Kel McCarr, isn't he? He's the reigning Norris, right? Or was that 2 years ago?
I think he's the reigning Norris.
Is he reigning Norris? But
I
then,
believe.
on his other side, you have probably one of the better defensive defensemen in the whole league in
Mhm.
Devon Taves.
Yes. Who could also bring it offensively too.
Yeah.
I love what they did at the deadline, getting Casey Middlestaff from the Sabres.
Yep.
I think
Or
he
Bo
should.
Byram, which is crazy to me.
Bo Byram has not played well with the Sabres too. It's just like, ugh. So I think
But
that's
that makes up for, like, you have Josh Manson still and number one defenseman Jack Johnson.
I can't believe we didn't mention that the Jets also got Sean Monahan.
Oh my God, right?
He played well for the Jets after the trade too. So
It's
that's a big addition. But on the topic of the Avs, this is an experienced group. It's Val Nichushkin-Backer.
I believe so.
Okay. Well, still speaking of experience, they went out. They got Zach Parise,
They got
who
Ross Colton.
played a little bit. Ross Colton, I love that
Oh,
player.
what an amazing addition, Ross Colton.
Miles Wood will raise hell in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, this is what Miles Wood was built for.
Mm-hmm. Even a guy like Yakov Trenin makes a difference in your bottom six.
And so does
Sean Walker, they got at the deadline.
Oh, that's right. They got my boy, Shawnee
Yeah.
Walker. They still have Cogs, right?
Yep.
Still
They
have
do.
Andrew Cogliano, who
Mhm.
brings plenty of veteran presence to that team. There are shuffling rumors that, like, it's not that he's anywhere close, but if they go on enough of a run, we could see Landy come back.
Can we also talk about the resurgence of Jonathan Drouin?
Oh, what a year he had, right?
19 goals, 56 points. It's almost like getting back with your good buddy Nate McKinnon helps a little bit.
It's amazing what can happen when you reunite just any junior teammates.
They don't even have to play on a line together. It's just, there's something about playing with Nate McKinnon. Like, even you don't even have to play on his line. He makes you a better player.
Oh yeah, just from the energy that he brings.
Like if Landeskog was never given the captaincy at such a young age.
Had to be McKinnon if it wasn't him.
Oh God, yeah, dude. Like he basically is the captain.
He's de facto, yeah.
Yeah.
He just
That
happens
team,
to be wearing an A instead.
yeah. Like I would argue that Cale McCarr is their best player,
Mhm.
but Nate McKinnon, that's the engine right there.
That's the straw.
That team runs on Nate McKinnon.
That's the straw.
He's their energizer bunny.
I am a little concerned with the goaltending by Alex Georgiev. As much as I loved him in fantasy this year,
it's a fair concern, but
you're going head to head with two teams that were atop the league in lowest goals against.
Yeah.
Both of them let in less than 200 goals this year, right?
I believe so.
And that's very funny coming from Alex Georgiev, who finished below a 900 save percentage, right?
It tells you they just don't let you shoot. They're either blocking shots or you're not getting shots off because you don't have the puck.
Right, exactly. I don't know what to expect when it comes to Bednar's strategy in net, whether they're going to just let Alex run or if they're going to let Eustace get a chance in there.
That would be a hell of a call if he did that. I fully.
Did you get a game in there? Like,
no, I fully expect it just to be Alex. That's their guy. That's their guy.
He is their guy, yeah. And speaking of one of their former guys, just a quick shout out to our old friend Pavel Francouz.
Sad.
Sad retirement story.
Yeah.
I hope
feel
he's
for him.
okay.
Me too. But anyways,
As far as the series goes,
I'm Avs in 6.
Avs in 6 for Mr. Ashdown. I have the Avs in looks like 7. I have this going a full 7 because you got to remember the way this series like finished. You have the Jets going in on an 8-game winning streak heading into this series. Plus, they blew them out of the water like 7-0 the last matchup they had.
That means the Avs are due.
So I don't know. I feel like that's gonna be one of the better series in the West.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
But I think this upcoming one's going to be the best series in the West. We saved the best for last.
Dallas, Vegas.
So the team that won the number 1 seed in the West in Dallas takes on the team that beat them in the 3rd round last year and won the Stanley Cup in Vegas.
I love both of these rosters. I really, really love both of the ways these rosters are constructed.
Me too. Do you know who led the Golden Knights in scoring this year?
No.
It was March or so. Guess how many points he did it
Oh,
with?
that's right. Yeah, I would have figured it would have been Marchie again, right?
Guess how many points he did it with? You're thinking too hard. You're thinking too hard. Think funny. Think funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He had 69 points this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
That's amazing. That is very nice. That's
Jason
crazy.
Robertson led the way. Surprisingly, for as good as Dallas was,
Mhm.
he led the team in points and he only had 80.
Really?
Like, that's how balanced Dallas is.
Well, that's how balanced both of these teams are. They're such a play-by-committee team.
Yeah. Well, part
either
of
side.
the reason that the numbers lower for Vegas is because they've had so many damn injuries this season.
Right. They did get a lot of help from the
Yeah, the brutal luck this year.
we make the jokes about the loophole, but like teams exploit this as best as they can.
Yeah,
And it's like it's fine.
of course.
As long as you're not really like doing anything nefarious with it.
Of course.
You know, Vegas has done this for 2-3 years now with their LTIR space. And that just makes
some stats for you in a second.
It's just crazy because they go out like last year they added Pavel Buchnevich.
Yeah.
And then they signed him to this huge extension.
Wait, who?
Buchnevich. Or not Buchnevich. Oh my God, Barbashev.
What? Yeah, I was gonna be like, wait, what?
I was like, Buchnevich, wait a minute. I don't know where
when did they do that?
I was okay, Barbashev.
Yeah.
So they go out and they get Barbashev last year. This year they get Tomas Hertl.
And
what?
Noah Hannafin.
And Noah Hannafin. And signed Hannafin already to a huge extension. They might do the same for Hertl.
Might do the same. He's already on a long-term deal.
Oh, that's right. He's already on a big deal.
Silly goose.
You can tell that that's how my brain's been operating all day.
So, speak to how balanced Dallas is. Okay,
Yeah.
Are you ready? Jason Robertson had 80 points.
Yep.
Joe Pavelski, 67 points.
What
Mason
a season. Pavelski's getting better with age.
Yes.
He's getting better and better.
Marchman had 53 points. Davey Ben had 60 points. Matt Duchene had 65 points. Rope Hintz had 65 points. Tyler Sagan had 52 points. Wyatt Johnston had 65 points.
And 20 goals, 30 goals, right?
Wyatt Johnston?
Yeah.
32.
32 goals for Wyatt Johnston. Wow.
Dude, this team is balanced as hell. Miro Heiskanen, 54 points. Like,
Ryan Suter, Niels Lundqvist. I mean, we could talk to Taylor and Jordan about this all day long, right?
Exactly. This team is so balanced. It's not even funny.
And in net, you have a behemoth of a man in Jake
Yeah,
Ottinger.
and he had an okay season. I mean, he won a lot of games. He had 905 save percentage, so he was about
That's
average.
fine.
But he's still got the potential to steal a series. We've seen him almost do it 2 years ago against Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, I love this Dallas team.
I really love
I'm
him
picking
too.
Vegas
And
in 6.
you got to remember on the Vegas end in terms of the goalies too, like Aiden Hill is going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
He led the league in so many categories despite what his defense, like their defense. Oh my God, Braden McNabb,
Alex
just
Petrangelo.
Alex Petrangelo,
Just mentioned them getting Noah Hannafin,
Zach Whitecloud.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure. Oh, Alec Martinez.
oh,
Anybody? 3-time Stanley Cup champion, Alec Martinez.
that's right. Oh my God. Well, the problem is I keep forgetting about Martinez because he spent a lot of LTIR time this year too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
sometimes you
Oh my
forget
God.
about these guys.
Shea Theodore.
Oh my God, Shea Theodore. What?
Yeah. Shea Theodore. Yeah. Their defense is loaded. Their defense is
Their
loaded.
defense is so loaded.
Nick Hague.
I have Vegas in 6 as well, I think.
Yeah. I love Dallas. I love Dallas. But my God, you get the number 1 seed in the West. You couldn't have picked a more nightmarish
No, the way that season ended.
2 wild card than Vegas sputtering because of injuries, limping into the playoffs, but it's still Vegas.
And then they get everybody back.
Yeah.
Like just in time. The West is going to be one to watch, and I can't wait.
I gotta lie, I think the West is a little bit more compelling than the East. The East, I think, has 2 very interesting series, but the others are
There's fun storylines to be had within pretty much all of these series.
Yeah. Can we start with the 2 boring series in the East?
Let's
2 New
go.
York series.
Let's start with Isles Canes.
Okay.
Isles kind of were one of the last ones to clinch.
Yeah.
Second to last, I believe.
Patrick Waugh doing his thing.
Dude. He's had them playing really, really solid hockey.
He's had them playing Islanders hockey. Is what he's had them been doing.
I mean,
they got back to the playoffs.
There's no better guy to succeed Barry Trotz and that kind of defensive system.
Yeah.
Than Patrick Waugh.
Unfortunately, he had Elaine Lambert in between, but
right.
At the end of the day, getting them back to playing that style of hockey is not the worst thing in the world. I think he's done a pretty good job with very limited resources. And he did what he needed to do. I think he's proven that he can coach in the National Hockey League, and hopefully that'll be a nice mark on his resume for whatever job he gets next. Because the Islanders are old and they're not very talented, and they sure as shit are not going to beat the Hurricanes. But they will steal a couple games because of the style of hockey they play. So I have Canes in 6.
There's no flashiness to the Islanders, and you don't really need that. Like, you have guys like Matt Barzal, and that's fine.
Barzal's fine. He's a very talented hockey player. He's not a superstar. I feel bad for Bo Horvat. How do you think he feels sitting back?
Oh yeah, this poor guy.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be fine. He'll perform.
He was the captain of the Canucks, man.
That's right.
Would you love to be the captain of the Canucks this year?
This year, oh, dude.
I mean, Barzal, like we talk about Barzal, but Like I feel like people keep talking about him like he's like a superstar. He had 80 points. And look, that's not bad, that's good, but like 80 points as your number one center, as your true star player the last several years, like it's just it doesn't hit the same like say at Dallas with Jason Robertson because they don't have nearly the balance that Dallas has.
Right. I don't it's hard because your headliners on all three positions for that Islanders team, you got Barzell up front, you have Noah Dobson on the back end. And I really like Noah Dobson. But there's other than Pelican Pollock, there's really nobody else that really jumps out at you.
They have Robert Bortuzzo?
I forgot about that. That was a weird move.
He
And
played
then
23 games for the Islanders and didn't register a point. Kings.
sounds like Robert Bortuzzo. And then in net, it's the Soroke show. I know there's a great tandem in there with Varley, but like Varley's
Yeah,
getting old.
Varlamov obviously has had experience with Patrick Waugh from his days in Colorado, but Sorokin's the guy. And Sorokin has the ability to steal a couple games, but like this is as close to a 0% chance as I'm going to give it to him in the playoffs.
It's hard because you've got Patrick Waugh, who obviously has NHL head coaching experience, but that was a decade ago.
Yeah, yeah. When the Avs made the playoffs, his first year as coach, that was quite literally 10 years ago.
And you're going up against Rod Brindamore.
And the Canes have been really good these last few years.
Sebastian Aho, Jesperi Kotkaniemi,
Well, hey,
Seth Jarvis. What?
Remember, the Islanders also have Sebastian Aho, so watch
That's
it.
right. It's the Aho Bowl, isn't it? Marty Natchez, just name guys. Jake Gensel
Kuznetsov.
from the freaking deadline. Evgeny Kuznetsov. Like, what?
Yeah.
Obviously, they still have Jordan Stahl. They still have Jordan Martinook.
They went out, they got Dmitry Orlov in the offseason.
Leading the way, you've got Brent Burns and Jacob Slavin.
Yeah, Slavin's unbelievable.
Unbelievable players on the defensive end.
God, what's his name? Brady Shea.
Brady Shea, I love him so much. And Brett Pesci's still there.
Brett Pesci, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's a good team. It's a really good team. Yeah, Canes in 6.
Canes are just loaded. And then, speaking of their goaltending, you have like a triple-headed monster between Freddie Anderson, Antti Ranta, and the headliner in
Antti Ranta hasn't played in forever.
Pyotr Kochetkov backing up Freddie
No,
Anderson.
they have a duo. They do not have a triple-headed monster. Antti Ranta hasn't done anything in quite some time.
I mean, if they need him, shit.
I don't know. I honestly think they might go to Spencer Martin before they go to him.
They probably. Oh, that's right. They got Spencer Martin. I forgot about that fun little waiver claim. But
last time, like Ranta had an 872 this year. I think he's kind of cooked.
I don't know.
He might be a worthwhile signing in the offseason on a 1-year league min deal for a team, but he's certainly not going to play again for the Hurricanes unless 3 guys get injured, in my opinion.
Okay, so you have Canes in 6.
Yes.
My true pick would also be Canes in like 5.
Yeah.
But just to be a contrarian, you want to know the funny thing?
What?
My THPN bracket. This isn't my other bracket because that's my SDPN bracket. That's like where I put my actual picks in.
I will end this call right now.
Just to be fun.
No, get off this podcast.
Just to be fun.
You have time. Change that pick right now.
Islanders in 7. I want to see something happen there.
I don't. Good Lord.
I want to see something happen there.
Unless your only rationale is I'm hoping for Islanders Rangers in the second round. No, just no.
That's where I'm going, my friend. We're going right there right now. So you have the President's Trophy winning Rangers.
Yeah.
Were practically unbeatable all year long.
They're unbelievable.
They're unbelievable. And they
They've
had a
got
couple.
literally everything you'd want in a hockey team. They've got speed, they've got skill, they got grit. They're better on the back end.
Have
Alexei
weapons
Lafreniere
upon
is
weapons
breaking out.
upon weapons.
But Alexei Lafreniere was such an X factor this year in this breakout, and good for him.
And so was Vinny Trocheck. What a player this year.
And funny enough, this didn't come on the back of a Vezina caliber season from Igor Shesterkin. As a matter of fact, you arguably got better goaltending from Jonathan Quick of all people.
You got Jonathan Quick coming home and turning back the clock literally a decade.
Yeah. So I gotta tell you, like, I love how this team's constructed. Obviously, Peter Laviolette's done an unbelievable job.
That top line of Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
Artemi Panarin had such an unbelievable season this year. I mean, where was he at in terms of total points? He was near the top, wasn't he? I think he was top
49 goals, right? He was just shy of 50 goals.
He was fourth in the league. Artemi Panarin had 49 goals, finished with 120 points.
So
He had 10 more than David Pastrnak.
Oh my God. And they're really going to need pickups from their deadline acquisitions in the former Blue Jackets, Wenberg and Roslovic, especially with Hedl out.
It's interesting that Panarin, like, this is his first ever 100-point season, and he finishes with 120 points. And I'm not saying that this is the reason. I'm not. But, correlation doesn't equal causation. But I'm just saying this is the first season that he's gone fully bald. And
that's right. They just shave off the demons, right?
Yeah.
And their back end's loaded. You have Adam Fox, you have Ryan Lindgren, you have Keandre Miller, you have Jacob Trouba.
Yeah. Keandre
Like,
Miller looks phenomenal.
What an amazing player Keandre Miller
Even
is.
a guy like Eric Gustafson had 31 points this year. He was a big contributor.
That whole
Chad Ruedel,
Brodzinski, and oh my God, the biggest story to come out of his debut onward, Matt Rempe. That is going to be a fun.
Braden Schneider played all 82.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Matt Rempe is going to be the kid to watch, though.
Yeah.
Because let's go over to Washington. Obviously, we know they're going to go as far as Ovi can take them. But
the real
dude, the
real guy to watch this series is 43.
The story is 43 and 73.
Yeah, that's gonna be a battle.
That is gonna be such an amazing thing to watch between Wilson and Rempe. I know Dylan Strome picks up the slack without Nick Backstrom. And that's the saddest thing.
Yeah.
Not having Backy for this series.
Yeah.
Because this is the first series that they've played against each other since Wilson originally tore the Rangers apart from the seams.
Yeah. And I fully expect that like, if Washington's going to have any chance in this series, which I don't give them much of a chance, it's going to be because Tom Wilson is just getting them to be so uncharacteristically undisciplined on all ends, not just Matt Rempe, and taking a bit of their focus away from the hockey.
Right.
It's gonna, like, if they're gonna have any chance, Tom Wilson's going to have to get in the head of everybody in this series.
The biggest mind game is Wilson just throwing everybody like a rag doll.
Two things. You need Wilson to do that, and you need Ovi just to turn back the clock. Like, he's still obviously really good. He's still Ovi, but
dude, he's gonna break the record.
You need him to be Ovi.
You need him to be like cup winner Ovi.
Yeah.
And then on their back end, you have guys like John Carlson leading the way, Rasmus Sandin, Um,
Tons of experience on the back end.
TVR is there, right?
I believe so. I think he's still there. Yeah.
They still have TJ Oshie, who's plenty fine.
Like I
Their,
said, like I
their
guess
their
other
bottom six
advantage-
has nice youth in it.
the only other advantage I would give Washington in the series is like you just look up and down their lineup from guys like TJ Oshie to Tom Wilson to Alex Ovechkin to Max Pacioretty.
Connor McMichael,
Yep. Like, well, I just like I'm looking at guys like that and saying like,
the
okay,
veterans, right?
there's experience. Darcy Kemper in goal. Like there's experience.
Right.
Now I don't know if Kemper's going to start though because Lundgren's been so unbelievable, and that's another storyline. Is we got the
we got another battle of the brothers, right?
Yeah.
Did you read the post of what Charlie said?
No.
He said, in regards to if Ryan were to score on him, he said something to the effect of, I think I would just die. Like I would just like die there on the spot. That would be the end of it. If Ryan were to score on me.
Did you see what Devin Cooley said?
Oh, the nihilist?
Nothing's really going to matter. We're all going to die. Greatest quote ever. Hey, man, you had a really good game. Can you talk to us about it? Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
That was such a... I know that's like way too big of a tangent, but like, whoa, dude.
Yeah. What a wild guy. But yeah, I think this is easy. I'm taking the Rangers in 5.
I think I also have the Rangers in 5. Let me double check this. I have it in 6.
I think there's like one game in Washington that's just a total shit show that like the Capitals like maybe they just score like 6 goals and it's just a mess. There's fights everywhere but that's it.
Yeah, I have it in 6 because I think, I think the Capitals, despite their age, have enough firepower to get at least one more game out of that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're a team that probably shouldn't be here, so make the most of it.
The way they got here.
The way they got here.
It's hilarious. It's so funny. And we can obviously like
having an impact on how the playoff picture shook up.
What was the whole story, right? It was like they were already eliminated, right?
They were eliminated because the Red Wings tied the game against the Canadiens with 3 seconds left, so it didn't matter.
By like a 30-second gap in game time.
And Torts, which I believe him 100% because this is just how Torts is, told people, don't tell me what's going on in the other game. We're focused on this game. Exactly. We don't want any distractions. We need to win this game in regulation.
That's a Torts thing. Yep. So he goes ahead.
Already been eliminated. He didn't know. He pulls the goalie. They get scored on. The Capitals make the playoffs.
Which that empty netter eliminated both the Flyers and the Penguins.
Well, the Flyers were already eliminated.
No, the Red Wings
eliminated the Red Wings and the Penguins.
So it was just like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me.
Obviously they screwed over the Red Wings, but
screwing over the Penguins at the same time is very funny.
So yeah.
Oh boy.
And now we get to the 2 interesting matchups.
The 2 probably the best series to follow in the East.
We got 2. Let's talk about let's say the best for last. Let's talk about Florida and Tampa.
Yes, let's talk about the Battle of Florida really quick.
Florida. Let me tell you, last 4 Stanley Cup Finals, all Florida.
That's right. It's interesting that like you have this Tampa team that's kind of been reeling their way through it.
Like this is like this is similar to Dallas where it's like Florida had such a good season and it's like you couldn't pick a worse first matchup for them where it's like, oh, who do you get to play? Well, 1, you get to play your rival.
Yeah.
2, they've been kind of like hot ass this season, but now they're like playing the best hockey they've played all season, and they've been like untouchable in their last 25. Good luck.
Well, especially Nikita. Oh my God, Nikita Kucherov.
I think he should win MVP.
You think so?
I do. He's been unbelievable this season. He has carried that team.
I mean, it's just Cooch and Stammer, and that's all you really need. They're doing this without Mikhail Sergachev, bro.
Yeah.
A staple on that back end in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously, Heddy's no slouch.
No doubt about it.
Victor Hedman isn't a slouch.
You see how loaded they are. Brandon Hagel had 75 points this year. They got Anthony Duclair at the deadline.
That's right, they got
and he had 15 points in 17 games for the Lightning after he came over. Stamkos had 40 goals, 81 points this year. Braden Point, 90 points. He had 46 goals. Anthony Cirelli had 45 points this year, 20 goals. Nick Paul had 46 points this year.
They're so silly. Like, they're such a silly team to just
Darren
look
Radish
at
had 33 points.
Darren Radish, guys.
Yeah. Dude, they get Matt Dumba at the deadline to fill in on the third pair.
What?
They got obviously you mentioned Hedman. They got Eric Chernak.
Nick Perbix came into his own, like, straight from the lab, bro.
Mm-hmm. Calvin DeHaan played 59 games this year for the Bolts. He's available.
Yeah.
And I know that his numbers were not that great all season long, but at the end of the day, it's still Andre Vasilevsky.
It's still Vasi. Like, he missed the first 2 months with that spinal surgery.
And I wondered if he came back too soon because he didn't play well after that.
Or was it his knees? I think it was his knees. It was
I think it was hip?
Might have been hips. It's something.
Yeah.
Like, it's always something with these guys, right?
Yeah. Well, think about how much hockey he's been playing.
Well, because, like, think about it. Stone's coming back, going back to Vegas for a second. Stone's coming back from a ruptured spleen. Ugh.
Even know what a spleen does? I don't.
No. Ugh.
But I know it's not good.
When your spleen ruptures.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, you're right. It was back surgery.
It was back. Okay. Well, that explains the cup wins. Carrying on his back.
It wasn't a hockey-related injury, but instead a result of pushing too hard in the gym. "Quote unquote, it's such a silly, silly injury, and it was avoidable."
Nah, man, he's the Russian Greg Jennings, bro.
Put the team on my back, though.
Put the team on my back, though.
You can't stop me. Cross the plane.
Touchdown!
Russian Greg Jennings. Final 49-20.
Fuck you, Gumby.
Yeah, and then you get to the side of things. That team went to the Cup final last year.
Dude, they're as loaded as ever.
Sergei Bobrovsky in goal.
Our boy, we can't go against our boy.
Sam Reinhart had the best season of his life.
54 goals, right?
Right in time for that big meaty contract.
Or no, wait, it was 57.
57 goals.
That's
57.
right. Woo!
Such a good season from him.
They Sasha Barkov.
Yeah, Sasha Barkov. Evan Rodriguez. Nick Cousins is still a pain.
Sam Bennett's still a pain.
At the deadline, who can still contribute a little bit. Vlad Tarasenko.
Sam Bennett's still a pain.
Yep. We haven't even mentioned Alexander Barkov, which is kind of funny.
And the biggest pain of them all, fucking Matthew Tkachuk.
Right. Anton Lundell. Whew. And then on defense, you got Aaron Ekblad. You got Brandon Montour.
Gus Forsling with the big contract extension.
Dude, even OEL was good for them this year.
OEL, and you mentioned Montour, right?
Yeah.
They're just loaded.
Dmitry Kulikov.
No.
Back where it all started.
Right. No wonder Bill Zito got this big promotion where he's now not only extended as general manager, but president of hockey ops.
Yeah, and they had, did you see what Elliot Friedman said?
Hmm.
He said it's not surprised the timing of it because he thinks the Blue Jackets were pushing hard to bring him back.
Oh, dude, if we would have brought him back.
That would have been something, wouldn't it?
Oh, boy.
But regardless, I'm happy for him. He's doing well.
Yeah.
So, if it ain't broke, why fix it? I'd love to have him back, but dude, you're cooking in Florida. Stay.
Dude, it's a perfect fit.
He's doing a fantastic job. He's built an incredible hockey team.
And so is Paul
have that
Maurice.
boost.
And this is where Paul Maurice fucking shines.
This is also where John Cooper shines.
Prison Rules Paul versus the longest tenured coach
Here's
in
the
the
thing.
NHL.
Prison rule. If there's anyone who can overcome prison rules, Paul,
It's John
Lawyer
Cooper.
John. It's
It's-
Lawyer John.
Lawyer John.
It's not going to take long before that lawyer, John Cooper, starts to have a massive impact on how things are called in this series. Is it not?
No.
Let me tell you,
Dude,
man, this is going to be an entertaining ass series, but I do have
it's
the Bolts.
amazing.
I do have the Bolts taking it in 6.
I have the Panthers taking this one. And this one's going the distance. This one's going 7.
Either way, man, these teams are
This one's such a wild, even match.
these teams are so fun. Yeah, it is. It is.
It's so crazy.
And
now we get to the pièce de résistance.
oh, dude, we get to the real meat and potatoes of the whole thing.
We get a tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm. Death, taxes, and Leafs Bruins, with the Bruins having home ice advantage.
So, obviously
Bruins in 7.
well, yes, but no, but yes, but no.
Yes, but yes.
So,
But yeah,
let's actually talk about it, though.
but yeah. No doubt.
Obviously, on the Boston end, you're getting led by David Pastrnak and a combined. Didn't they have a combined 69 goals between Zacha and Coyle or something like that?
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't look to see what their combined goals was, but
I think it was 69 goals between the two of them.
But when you say that, I believe you because I don't think
Obviously they have the less flashy names like Danton Heinen, and they got Pat Maroon at the deadline. What?
yeah. And suddenly Jack Edwards is retiring.
Now, all honesty, you can check our last show because this is more of like a bonus episode.
Yes.
You can check our last show with us giving our flowers to Jack Edwards.
Yeah. Jake DeBrusk was Jake DeBrusk. He did exactly what
he did.
He's about a half a point a game player. David Pastrnak, 110 points.
Brilliant stuff from Pasta and Jake.
Trent Frederick had 40 points.
I love Trent Frederick.
He's going to be a menace this series.
You want to know a guy that I also love that just kind of came out of nowhere?
Who?
Matt Patra.
Is he back?
I don't know.
I don't think he's played in a long time.
I know Lowry got sent down.
He hasn't played
Providence
since
push.
27th of January, I don't think.
What a better captain for the Centennial Bruins team.
Yeah.
Than Brad fucking Marchand.
Dude, can we even talk about talk a little bit about resurgence? JVR had a good season.
JVR had a great year. Former Leaf Justin Brazeau finally making it into the big leagues.
Yeah, Coyle had 60 points, so he had 25 goals, and Zacha had 21, so they did not have a combined 60.
Dang it.
That's so disappointing. You lied to me.
I heard something about like
You lied to me.
I like
Morgan Geeky. What a name. Had 39 points, 17 goals.
Jacob Lauko had a good first year.
From you look at guys like Charlie McAvoy,
So
Hampus
did Johnny
Lindholm,
Beecher.
Brandon Carlo, Matt Grzelcyk, Kevin Shattenkirk. They also have Andrew Peeke.
Deadline acquisition Andrew Peak on their third pair.
Linus Olmark had a 915 save percentage. Jeremy
This
Swayze
is-
had a 916 save percentage.
This is the story because they have the better goaltending tandem in Olmark and Swayman.
Mhm.
They both had goals against averages under 2, I think.
Who do you pick? Who would you pick?
Between the two of them.
Yeah, who
The
you
start?
starting?
Oh Because I know Montgomery's
5,
making it a secret.
4, 3,
I gotta go with
2.
Linus.
Really? Okay.
I think I gotta go with Linus.
It's
as
Sway
much as
Day
I-
all day for me.
As much as I love Jeremy Swayman, I gotta go with Linus. And I know Jimmy is making it a secret.
I think he's going to go with Swayman. Linus Ullmark has not had a good showing in these last 2 playoffs.
Mhm.
Swayman in limited time, I thought played well,
Mm-hmm.
and Swayman's been very consistent. And I think it's only a matter of time before, like I wouldn't be surprised if they moved off of Linus Ullmark this offseason to A, save $5 million, B, get an extension in the works for Jeremy Swayman,
Right.
and just ride him the rest of the way and maybe make some other additions to the team. Like Swayman's the guy for the future. And
Give Mikey DiPietro a chance.
do they have him?
They do.
I kind of forgot about him. He's kind of just there, I guess. But they also have Brandon Boosie.
Oh, that's right. And Reed Dick, right?
They got some hilarious names.
They have some names, man.
Yeah, no, I'd go with Swayman. And
I
on
would still
the
go
Leafs side
Linus.
of it-
I don't.
on the Leafs side of it, do we know who's starting game 1?
No, we don't.
So we don't know who either goalie is to start this series.
Not really. Like,
Spicy.
it's very spicy. If it were me, if I were in Sheldon's shoes, which Sheldon. Well,
I
you
was
got you
I
got
was thinking of the SpongeBob episode.
Oh yeah, you got Sheldon and you got Jim, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
the nerdiest names for head coaches that you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Jim.
Sheldon.
If I were in Keith's shoes, though, I would probably go with Sammy because he has been ever since they called him back up from the Marlies. He's been nearly lights out,
He finished with an 890.
and yet he still finished hotter than most goalies in the whole league over the last couple of months. But let's be real. The story with the Leafs, it's funny. This series, as much as we talk about the history of it and how the Leafs haven't won since 1950 fucking 9, right?
What do you mean?
The Leafs haven't beat the Bruins in the playoffs since the end of the 50s.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know when their last series win against the Bruins was. That's something, isn't it?
Chalk that up to our buddy Steve Dangle, right? For finding that out.
I don't see
It's-
it. I just don't see it with the Leafs. This feels like a weaker Leafs team than previous years, doesn't it?
Not really.
I think it does.
Because what they lacked last year is what Tree brought in this year.
Explain.
So you have the only thing that's really missing is for the guys that actually do need to show up. But it's nice to have those supporting pieces where you have a guy like Reeves to challenge a guy like Maroon.
Is Reeves going to play in the playoffs?
He could. He could.
But I guess where my issue is you say that and I disagree because they had Kyle Clifford. Didn't make a damn difference.
Reeves
They've had guys who are your quote unquote de facto enforcers, if you will, and they made no difference. The issue isn't lacking toughness in the bottom 6. It's you need your star. I've said this. How many times have I said this? You need your stars to stand up for themselves. That's what makes the difference here. That's why the Bruins don't have that issue. Brad Marchand, yeah, I think he'll stand up for himself. I think he will. David Pastrnak, yeah, no chance he's getting pushed around.
I think in terms of the overall, like, when it comes to how things are going to score out,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the actual like goal scoring part
Mm-hmm.
of what hockey is about,
Mm-hmm.
you have unstoppable force versus immovable object because you have the Bruins
Yes.
goaltending tandem that is one
And
of
their decor.
and their decor, which is one of the best in the league, versus Austin Matthews, William Nylander.
Like I'll give you this in terms of the toughness factor. The two guys they brought in this offseason who are supposed to help in the middle six, help scoring a little bit, have toughness to them. Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi. Those
And
guys
they're
will stand for themselves.
and they both play really well. Like, here's another thing to consider, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the splitting of the talent of your big guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bert and Domi have played very well recently on Austin's wings,
Yes.
on either side of Austin Matthews.
Yes.
Second line, you can have John Tavares with Mitch and Bobby McMahon, who came out of nowhere.
Bobby McMahon. Yes.
Hell of
Yeah.
a story, Bobby McMahon, right?
Absolutely. I'll absolutely give you that. I do like Connor Dewar in the bottom six as well.
Which
Um,
leaves Robo with Willie on the other wing. And then you can get Pontus Holmberg in there, who's a great young piece.
yeah.
Which
Can I tell
leaves
you?
what? Dewar, Camp, Reeves, I guess.
I guess that's the direction you could go. Do we know when Yarncroke's going to be back?
I personally don't.
Okay.
I know he's taking practice rushes and stuff, but I really don't know.
Gotcha.
Um, their defense.
Bobby McMahon is questionable for game one, by the way.
Okay, so that might be if Yarny's ready to go.
Yeah,
That might be what they do.
could be.
Their defense.
This
We know.
is
We know
this
it's.
is, you lose me.
I mean,
You lose me.
Keith likes his comfort food, and that's why they brought back Riley Bouche. Right? That's an okay third-ish pair. Like 2B pair. I think you have to have Brody playing on the left. Because
You
you just
can't be paying $7.5 million for Morgan Riley to have him be on a 2B pair with Ilya Lyubushkin. And I'm not saying that's you. That's the Leafs. That's just so funny to me.
that's just well, like, think about it, right? So realistically, with the way that Brody's played this year, you want him kind of on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
And I like seeing what I saw from Timmy Liljegren with Brody this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can get a lot out of Timothy Liljegren if you play him those top pair minutes.
It's a lot to put on his shoulders.
It is, which, there's also the option of putting him on the second pair with Jake McCabe. And Edmondson, as the deadline acquisition on D, can play either side, as
And
well as TJ.
he's the guy who's supposed to make your life hell, and they have Geo.
And they have Gio as their seventh guy, yeah.
I'm not kidding. Like, this might be the worst decor of all the playoff teams, in my opinion.
Well, then you just gotta hope and pray the guys like Austin and the forwards, like the bottom six forwards.
Goaltending's not questionable.
The goaltending is kind of questionable, but like this is what I'm saying when it comes to unstoppable force, immovable object, right? You have the defense and the goaltending on the Bruins side, but then on the Leafs side, you have this offense that just fires at will.
The reason I'm going to go with the Bruins in 7 is because in 2 of the 3 categories, I give the Bruins a massive edge. I give them a massive edge in goaltending. I give them a massive edge in defense. And the strength that the Leafs have over the Bruins offense, the Bruins offense is significantly better than the Leafs goaltending and defensive woes. Like it's not a woe for them. It's just an area that's not as strong as Toronto.
It's just an issue.
So I don't know. Not to mention, like I'm not even trying to factor in the demons here for Toronto. They do play a factor,
And I
but
mean, like,
that's
you
not
never
even how I'm
know
analyzing
either.
it, to be honest. I just think that I just think that Boston's a better team than Toronto.
You
They're
never
more
know.
balanced. They have more flexibility, and personally, I trust. I know people soured on Jim Montgomery after the playoffs last year. I still think he's a better coach than Sheldon.
Yeah. If they lose this series, Shelley and I feel like you got to clean out everybody.
Yeah.
Sheldon, Brad, Brendan,
Well,
all three of them.
Brad's not going anywhere.
Brendan has to go.
Brendan will go. Brendan will go. I wouldn't be surprised if Brendan goes and they just make Tree Living just
the de facto guy for both.
Yeah. And let him
basically the
hiring
genius.
a coach and all that stuff.
That's fair. I have the Leafs in 7 on this one. I gotta have that little bit of hope in there, as little as it is.
I won't blame you for that. I'm giving you hope. I'm pushing it to 7.
As little bit
I'm
as
just
it
taking the
is,
hope away with the Bruins win.
It's fair.
So do we want to just go over our brackets real quick? Like just rapid fire?
Yeah, rapid fire the rest of the brackets because I know we were running long on just dissecting these.
Yeah. So I have Vegas over Dallas,
Mhm.
Colorado over Jets, Predators over Canucks, Oilers over Kings, which gives me a Vegas Colorado matchup. I have Vegas winning that. Also gives us an Oilers Predators matchup. I have the Oilers winning that. I have the Oilers beating the Vegas Golden Knights and going to the Stanley Cup final. On the east side, I have Tampa beating Florida, Boston beating Toronto, Rangers beating Capitals, Hurricanes beating Islanders. That gives us a Rangers Hurricanes matchup. Rangers will take that one. Bruins Lightning, I have the Bruins. I'll take the Rangers over the Bruins. And then in the final, I will take the Rangers winning the Stanley Cup over the Edmonton Oilers.
I forgot how much you were just like, look at this and basket how stupid it is.
Yes. Yes.
So this is okay. This is my THPN bracket, and this was more like my contrarian bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little bit different than what I actually think, and I'll go over my other bracket in a second.
Okay.
So in the West, I have Vegas over Dallas, Avs over Jets, Canucks over Preds, Oilers over Kings, and then Avalanche over Vegas, and Canucks over Oilers. So that's where that little flip-flop is right there for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I still have the Avalanche moving on and beating the Canucks to go to the Cup final. In the East, I've got Panthers over Lightning, Leafs over Bruins, Rangers over Caps, and Islanders over Hurricanes. So we get a little battle in New York in the second round, and then we get a rematch of Toronto, Florida in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Panthers beating the Leafs and the Rangers beating the Islanders. That would be a fun Eastern Conference final with the Rangers and the Panthers. Whew.
Yes.
But then I have the Panthers moving on to play the Avs, and I have the Avs winning it all.
All right.
Now that's my THPN bracket. Let me figure this out. Brackets over here to this one. Edit. Okay, so basically the only differences I have between this and my actual bracket that I have for the SDPN challenge.
Yeah.
My only difference is, oh yeah, okay, so Knights over Dallas in 6, Avs over Winnipeg in 7, Canucks over Predators in 6, Oilers over Kings in 5, and then the Avs win and go all the way to the final after beating Vegas and Edmonton along the way. And then in the East, it's Florida in 6, Toronto in 7, Rangers in 7. I don't know why I had the Rangers in 7. I feel like that might be an interesting series either way. And Canes in 7, because I know that that's another one of those like high octane offense versus a really stout defense kind of matchups.
Mhm.
So again, it's Florida, Toronto. Florida moves on. Rangers, Hurricanes, and I think the Rangers still move on from that. And it's still like all the way the rest, Colorado, Florida, and Colorado wins it.
Rangers, Florida. Could you imagine how many Rangers fans would be in
What an
Yeah.
amazing Eastern Conference final a Rangers Florida matchup would be.
that arena? Would just filled with blue jerseys.
I still think it would be a hell of a series, though.
Would be.
Dude,
Igor versus
Kachuk,
Bob.
Igor versus Bob, Kachuk and Trouba. Oh! Right?
That'd be interesting.
Man,
This is good. This was
we've
good.
got a really, really solid playoffs heading our way. And we know that there's going to be surprises as we go through this thing. But that's our primer, everybody.
Alrighty.
We'll see you when we see you for our actual 140th. And that'll mean we're 10 away from the big 150, baby.
Indeed, we are.
We'll see what we can do for a really special thing for that. We will see when we see y'all.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Garinger, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.